Senator Ben Cardin from Maryland, thank you for appearing on the UpTake. Welcome to Twin Cities. Tell us what's brought you to Netroots Nation and what you've been excited about these days.
Oh, it's always great to be here at Netroots. First of all, you're with activists, you're with people who share your passion for the issues. You get energy, literally. Washington can be a tough place. It can be difficult at times. Coming here really does energize me and recognize that there's a lot of us in this fight. And this is about what a type of a country we want to live to our children and grandchildren. Netroots gets it. It's the grassroots of the type of change we need in this country.
Mm-hmm. Who are you talking to here? I mean, what have you heard that's most inspirational, gives you the most hope?
Well, I was with some of the union people yesterday about the need for jobs. Mm-hmm. Clearly, we have a budget deficit. We all understand it. We got to deal with it. The best way to deal with it is create more jobs. We need to do that. So I think the discussion about how we can create more jobs in so many different areas was very, very helpful. I'm here for the environment. To me, the environmental agenda is very much the progressive agenda. And what the Tea Party has showed on H.R. 1 is that we're all in this together. So we're developing strategies to save our clean water and our clean air.
This has obviously been a winter of discontent for labor. Enormous struggles in Madison, which may have emboldened the movement, also has put labor backs up against the wall. Can the Democratic Party, harness that and run with it? And what does the party have to do so?
Well, the attack on labor really was an attack on the Democratic Party. And I think we need to stand up with our friends and organize labor. The workers today need the protection of unions more than ever before. We've seen so many problems around the nation. It was not the public sector employees that caused the problems around this country. It wasn't our working force that caused the problems. These deficits were caused by tax policies that made little sense, where we had to use a credit card to give cuts to the wealthy, going to war in two countries and borrowing money to pay for it, reckless gambling on Wall Street. These are the causes of the huge deficit we have today. So don't balance the budget on the backs of working families. They're the ones who have been hurt the most by this recession. It's time for the people who caused this problem to step forward and assume more responsibility.
The Democratic Party in recent years hasn't appeared to, has been as closely affiliated with labor as it has in the past in terms of standing up for collective bargaining and such. Did Wisconsin change things?
Well, that's a very good question. I could tell you with organized labor in Maryland, and as I see with my colleagues with their local unions, I think there's a very close relationship between the Democratic Party and working families and unions in America. But I think what happened in Wisconsin was a wake-up call that we need to stand together. And if we don't, we're very, very vulnerable. So I was outraged, and I spoke on the Senate floor about Wisconsin because I felt obligated to do it. It wasn't Maryland, but it was an attack on all working families and an attack on public sector employment, and that has no place in America.
Speaking of the Senate, we know the Senate has become much more divisive across party lines than it has been in the past. And the Senate, of course, has looked to, contrasted with the House, to be really a moderate body where you can talk to Republican colleagues. Any signs of dialogue or re-engagement?
Well, absolutely. Look, we have to work across party line to get things done for our country. And I feel very passionately about the issues of our Democratic Party and what we stand for. But we need to reach across party line to move this nation forward. We need an energy policy to make sense for America. We need an immigration policy to make sense for America. And we certainly need to create more jobs. And we have to work across party lines. So I work with Republicans every day in an effort to try to find areas where we can move forward. I was proud to work with Lamar Alexander, a Republican from Tennessee, to outlaw mountaintop removal, one of the most devastating ways that irresponsible coal barons are destroying our environment in order to get coal. So yes, we can make progress, but we have to figure out how Democrats and Republicans can work together.
A climate bill looked like it might have its day. It ultimately died in Washington, though we still talk about energy efficiency and reducing exporting of foreign oil and such. I mean, could a climate bill happen in Washington in the next 4, 6, 8 years?
Well, it has to. I mean, the climate change is real. It is affecting our environment. It's affecting our future. We can't walk away from this. Only the United States can provide that international leadership that can bring all nations together. So we have to continue this effort. It's not going to be easy. We thought we had a good bill a couple years ago. We thought it was a bipartisan bill using the market forces basically to bring down carbon, which we thought the Republicans had brought to the table. Unfortunately, the Republicans walked away from those discussions. The problems are now worse. So we have to deal with the carbon pollutions in our environment for the sake of our health and environment, for the sake of our economy, and for the sake of our national security.
But of course, what will it take to really to bring a climate bill back onto the table where it could gain enough support? I mean, Republicans have shown they're steadfastly opposed to this.
Well, I think you're going to see we'll probably take it in smaller pieces. We might be able to get a renewable energy standard for electricity done this year. We might be able to do real incentives on alternative and renewable fuels. We might be able to make real progress on electric vehicles. So we might be able to make real progress on transit systems. All of those are part of an overall strategy to reduce our carbon emissions. So yes, I think we can figure out how we can move it forward, but unfortunately we will not be able to adopt one bill that could solve the problem.
And finally, Senator, one last question. What needs to happen in 2012 to keep President Obama in the White House and perhaps for the House to go back to the Democrats?
Well, I think Barack Obama will be reelected in 2012. I think the people of this nation want this nation to move forward, not back. They don't want to go back to the days of the problems that we had before. But what will be extremely important is our efforts to create more jobs. We need more jobs in America. I mean, to me, that's the key thing. That will help us reduce the deficit. That will deal with a lot of the anxieties we have in housing and other fields. So I think we have to continuously focus on how we can create good jobs here in America, keep those jobs here, and improve middle-income families.
Senator, thanks for your time. Thanks for appearing on the UpTake.
My pleasure.